important to me. So I used that experience as part of my speech classes. And it was interesting to see the reaction on the part of some of the students. Anyways, so from the 60s, I got out of college in the corporate world, and I've seen some changes, as most of you, I'm sure, have. But my perspective on those changes, what the heck is going on? How can people, citizens of this country, allow so many changes to be implemented by our elected officials? To me, that is so incredible. And aren't the elected officials citizens of this country? So here's some of the changes that are my hot buttons. There's many. My number one is the education system. When I came here, actually even sooner than that, we moved to California 1969, and at that time California was way up there in terms of scholastic abilities. I don't know if it was second or third. Now we're 48 or 49. Our school system has been focusing on social engineering and feel-good education, not math or science and that stuff. Plus, we moved away from the Industrial Revolution mindset to an information age. Our school system hasn't changed to adapt to the information age curriculum. They think that, oh, we got computer science class. That isn't it. I hired a whole bunch of graduates from colleges, and very few of them had enough basic knowledge of what I consider ability to reason. And in the computer industry, you gotta be able to think, solve problems, be analytic, and what math and science does, it helps the individual to analyze problems and come up with the right solution. What we have today is too many people that solve problems but looking at the symptoms and not fully analyzing the situation to understand the problem, and they turn around with a solution that doesn't work, and they have to do it again and over and over again. I probably hired over 150, 200 computer analysts, and I can assure you no more than 10% of them had what I consider basic analytical skills. Yesterday, I happened to listen to a news item, and it was the ex-CEO of Lockheed. Lockheed is a pretty reputable, big organization. He said he looked at something recently that some academic organization, I forgot what he said, over the last 5 years, our country has gone drastically downhill in terms of competitive ability when you look at the college graduates. Strong, very deep. I forgot what the numbers are. You can probably find it on the web. But here's a major corporation, says, and he talked about other stuff as well. But the point is, over the last 5 years, our world standing when it comes to college graduates has gone drastically downhill. So we have to fix the education system. Get her out of the hands of the feds and the state. Bring it back to the local organizations. Okay. Legislation. You've probably seen enough of this as I have. There's been enough legislation passed that limits our freedoms as individuals, as parents. I worked on a state project a few years ago that if I had been personally affected by that legislation, I would have started the next revolution. And it had to do with the deadbeat parents project. I'm not going to go there. I don't want the government to do things that I need to do for myself. There's a plenty of things that they need to do and should be doing, but they shouldn't take the rights away from me as a father. A young girl can go out and get an abortion without my approval. And if that happened to me, I would absolutely start something serious. That is not going to happen. It's illegal to disturb the eggs of a turtle on the beach. It's probably some of you probably know. It's a special turtle. You go out on the beach, mainly in Florida, you will be persecuted, arrested, convicted if you disturb the eggs of that turtle. But it's okay to kill a baby that hasn't been born yet. It's hard for me to comprehend how this country has allowed that to happen. Consequences of doing something wrong. I think we've seen this. When somebody does something wrong, nowadays it seems that the person that did the bad thing has more rights than the other person that suffered for it. I absolutely believe in fair, whatever the term is, you're innocent until you prove it. Absolutely. But once you're convicted of a crime, you need to be punished. Whatever that is. But there always seems to be groups of people and whatever that the consequences of doing something wrong are being diminished. As a result, more and more people are doing things that are wrong. Because what's the big deal? Okay, moving on to my other pet peeves. When I came here, I knew it when I was in Italy, and definitely when I got coached by my aunt and my cousin, the individuals had a right. It was not the groups of people had any rights, but individuals did. And over the last 50 years, there's been more and more things in our culture, if not on the law books. Our culture seems to give rights to individual groups, okay, rather than at the individual. Plus, depending on what kind of individual you are, black, yellow, green, whatever, some of them have special rights. And again, it's hard for me to understand how we citizens of this country have allowed that to happen. Okay, the most current one, that it's been around a while, but over the last couple of years it's gotten much more attention, and that is the profits are bad. Anyone that makes a profit is a bad person, is a bad organization. That is absurd. That is what has made this country great. The opportunity for somebody to work their butts off and achieve and make a profit, and they get to choose what to do with that profit. Either invest it back into their company, give it away, or whatever. But our government, number one, says it's bad. Just about over the last couple of years, more and more organizations have been chewed out, or what the word you want to use, for making a profit. Because they made a profit. They're bad guys. That is absurd. Okay. Last item. First Amendment. I remember reading this with my cousin back in 1956. And she